Welcome to Ceramics with Mr. Bosmo. We're sculpting a bust, today learning how to work on the nose. First of all, you want to look at your resource photo, observe the angle of the nose, the size and shape of that nose, so that when you start making the basic form, you can get something that resembles the nose you're trying to make. I'm going to begin with a coil of clay and then pinch and form that to make something of a cone shape that's flat on the back, sort of triangular. And when I first placed this on the face, I noticed that it's too big. It's coming down too far. There's not enough space between the nose and the lip, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just remove some of the clay, pinch the form and shorten it up a little bit to get myself that space between the nose and the lip that I need. Then I'll begin by blending that all in and making it sort of angle back into the cheekbones. Here I notice there is a bit more of a protrusion there of the brow ridge than I have currently, so I am going to begin to build that up. At this point, after I add this brow ridge, it still isn't quite right. I think I need some more forehead to compensate. It's almost sticking out a little bit too much after I do that, but that's okay. And then there I'm looking at the nostril and the way that the septum hangs down further than the nostril. For that nostril, I'm making sort of a teardrop shape. So it's like skinnier up towards the tip of the nose and then rounder and more bulbous back towards the cheek. Right, and I'm showing here that that is up from the bottom of the initial piece that I put on so that the septum is hanging down a little bit. Right, and then I'll go ahead and just use my modeling tool to blend everything in. Oftentimes a beginner would just stop here and leave the side of that nostril totally blurred into the cheek, but it is important to make that definition. There's a rounded edge where the nostril sticks out and then kind of curves back in against the cheek. So you do have to kind of dig in there a little bit and round that edge out. You'll notice that I'm frequently wiping the excess clay off of my modeling tool. As you work, you're going to continually get clay that's sticking to the tool, and that will make things more difficult, so you want to wipe that off. Here I'm pressing up into the nostril, carving that out some, and then trying to make it so the nostril goes all the way back to the skin above the lip. So the nostril hole should not just be like a round hole that's floating out in the middle of the nose. It goes all the way back to that lip area, and here you can really see that. You can see how the septum's hanging down lower and how that nostril hole goes all the way back to the lip skin. You can also see how the edge of that nostril has a little bit of an indentation and somewhat of a separation from the cheek area. Making a few more adjustments, and then I'll move on to doing the nostril on the other side, where I'm just going to repeat the same procedure, right? Making that small teardrop shape that's smaller towards the front and rounder towards the back, blending it in, digging out the nostril and making it go all the way back to the skin above the lip, rounding out the edge of that nostril, giving it a little bit of definition. And I'm constantly making small adjustments, checking my resource photo, adding little dabs of clay here and there, and you'll see me doing that right now. That's a great way to alter the shape of something, just little dabs, putting them on where you see the form that's slightly too big or slightly too small, and then blending those pieces in. And again, you're not too worried about the smoothness of the surfaces right now, just their general form. Are they the right size? Are they the right angle? Are they the right shape? There you have the basics of your nose.